Hello, everybody. Hope you all had a great Friday and you made tons of money and you're getting ready for the weekend. Those who are new, we will start with crypto. We will review Bitcoin, Ethereum. We will review entire stock market, S&P 500, Nasdaq, Dow Jones, Russell 2000, all commodities we will review. And then we will review all sectors, healthcare, utilities, industrials, real estate. And then I will review tech sector, and at the end I will give you buy zone stocks that are in buy zone as soon as Monday, which you should be looking to take a trade. Okay, and before we go further, if you are liking the content, please hit the like button. There's a thumb signal, just takes 1 second to click a thumb and that helps channel grow. Please share with your friends and family, and if you are making money, want to thank me, there's a PayPal link in the description. Please share with your friends and family, and I will appreciate all the donations. Thank you, guys. All right, so Bitcoin is down 0.2%. So let's review a high level chart on a daily basis, and then we'll review basically micro level details later. So you can see what's happening here. Nothing changed. These are fib retracements. You can see if I zoom in, let's quickly zoom in. You can see very nicely here, Bitcoin made a new high. You can see this candle here on Thursday, 6th of July. Bitcoin made a new high, but you can see what's happening on momentum indicators. This is PPO and this is RSI. You can see there's divergence. You can see what's happening here. You can see price was going higher, making higher highs. You can see this is a new high compared to previous high, all highs, and you can see what's happening in PPO. PPO is going lower, so we are losing momentum. Okay, and then also what I want to show you, I showed you in a short video. You can see if I zoom this in, you can see on PPO green line crossed below red line. Okay, so red line is on the top and green line is at the bottom, and we're printing red candles, so which is a bearish sign. Okay, so every time we do this, every time green line cross below red line, we print green candles. That means momentum is going lower and Bitcoin is about to fall. All right, so also on RSI, I got this red dot. You can see here this red dot along with the crossovers and then this candle. And I think it's quite possible that the top is in and we are looking for some downward pressure on Bitcoin. And there are some price targets here, which I marked through. If I do draw a Fibonacci retracement from this low here, which was in November, to the high here, around 382 to 0.618, this is a good buy zone. So if Bitcoin comes around 24,000 to 20,272, you should be looking to buy Bitcoin here. Okay, and let's quickly look at 1 hour chart. Do we see anything different on 1 hour chart? You can see Bitcoin made a new high, but same thing even on short term. There are divergences happening on Bitcoin. So let me get the right tool. You can see here, you can see momentum is going lower. You can see today we made a high, which is a divergent high, basically a high on 1 hour chart, but on lower momentum. Okay, same thing on RSI. You can see here exactly same thing. High was made on a lower momentum, so that was an indication that a dump is coming, and now we are going down. Now we have to find some levels. Let's go to daily chart and see if we can find some levels. Now I would really like so look at this trend line, this white trend line. You can see tag here, tag here, tag here. It's quite possible we can come back for a tag, and that could be around 27,540. But ideally, I would really like it to go in this buy zone. The reason I want Bitcoin to go there, because there is gap on futures. This is BTC Bitcoin CME future. You can see this gap here, and that gap is not filled. Okay, so that's my eventual target. Now because of the price action Bitcoin is doing right now, I'm not sure. I don't think we're gonna go straight down, but eventually I'll be looking for that gap as my ultimate target. Okay, and on Ethereum, that gap is around 1428. Okay, so same concept here. You can see Ethereum did not make a new high, but let's go to 1 hour chart on Ethereum and see if we can find something on a short-term analysis. You can see here, if I zoom out, you can see what happened here. Ethereum made a new high. That was also a divergent high. You can see here, this high was higher than previous high, and now Ethereum is going down. You can see here. All right, so this is also RSI is also going lower here. You can see. So that means now it's in correction mode, and this could be a bear flag, guys. This could be a bear flag. So what is a bear flag? So you go down, it's going to be like a flag, and then it's going to go down to this target. Okay, so the distance from here, so the target to drive of their flag, it could be a distance from here to here. You just move that, sorry, let me get the right tool. So you can move that to here, so it can come very close to the trend line. So around 1760 could be the target. Okay, if I go to daily chart, that's gonna be very nicely coming on the support trend line. And let me get rid of these, and that would be a nice target for you to buy short term. And also you can see Ethereum since March 21st, 2023 is in this trading zone. So it's going out, going up, it's a fake out, come back down, going down, also another fake out, and now again this trading range for so long. Okay, and also this high, even on daily chart, you can see it was a divergent high. Even on Ethereum, you can see this high which it made here. This was a divergent high. Okay, and let me get even same thing on RSI. You can see the same thing. All right. So these are some of the indicators you can use to predict what's going to happen. But Bitcoin is looking very weak, and since this is a crossover, let's quickly look at Ethereum. If we have a crossover, yeah, Ethereum also. If I zoom in, you can see we have a crossover. We're printing this bar here. So if you're in profits, look to take profits. You can also see Ethereum also gave this red dot, so we are looking to go down. So there's a lot of downwards pressure about to come, I think. So be very careful in crypto. All right. And now I'm gonna review other stocks. You can stay here if you're in crypto. You just want to review crypto. Then I'm gonna now move on to other global sectors. Okay. All right. So S&P 500. This is daily chart of S&P 500. It is in the topping process. Yeah, I do think there is a possibility. Now let me review Russell first. Okay, before I go there. So Russell looks like the price action yesterday. You can see it came very close to this previous top. This is daily chart. This is 2,000 small companies in S&P 500. Came very close, and this price action here, although it looks like today we recovered. At one point we were up more than 2%, but at the end of the day we gave all back. So this price action looks like this could be a short-term top, and I think we're gonna chop around and eventually go lower. And there is this big support zone here on Russell. So this whole area, this is a big support zone. So looks like short term Russell wants to come back to this area, and that will be a good buying opportunity before for the next bounce. Okay, and also you can see the cycles are coming here. So a lot of cycles are coming, and they're going to put downwards pressure on Russell. Now, because of this, if Russell is going down, um, I am not sure. I'm not 100% sure if we already seen the top around 44.58. um, because also S&P 500 end of the day it gave back all the gains. I think it was as high as 1% in the morning. And if I show you SPY chart, it on 1 hour chart, I think it was trying to fill the gap, but it did not fill the gap. You can see it came very close, and then people shorted right before that gap. And very last 3 hours, this is hourly chart, last 3 hours were very very bearish. Okay, and let's quickly look at triple Q. Same thing, you can see triple Qs, although they did fill this gap. Now there's a gap here, so looks like it wants to come down to the fill that gap. But I don't like this price action. Okay, and if I go to daily chart, you can see also SPY printed a red candle yesterday, red dot, and also now there's a bearish crossover on S&P 500 as well. This is future, same thing. Green line is below red line with a red dot. So every time we get that, it's a sign of a top. And also you can see we made a divergent high here as well. So if I get rid of this, you can see this high here compared to this previous high was a divergent high. Same thing on RSI as well. So it's gonna put some bearish pressure now. Like, okay, my point is I don't think it is possible we can pump, but I think we might have already topped. If not, then we are very close to the top and there's not much upside left. Look for downwards at the end. Even if we get a pullback, the line in the sand is around 43.28. So you can see this previous low. S&P 500 should not break below this low. Okay, if it breaks below this low, then the top is in. If it can pump from here as soon as next week and make a new high around 4,500, it will do it later then, or it's quite possible we already seen the top, and we're still going straight down from here. Okay, so what I'm trying to tell you is at the end there's not a lot of upside left, but a lot of downsides coming here. Okay, and if I draw a Fibonacci retracement on SPY, I mean this is futures, but same concept as SPX. um, Buy zone is going to be around 4197 to 4044. Okay, so I think this is a nice buy zone here. So that will be from today's close, gonna be around. So the first target is around 4%, six. Let's say around 6%, 4150ish. We can target. Okay, so that's on S&P 500. And let's quickly look at SPY since we're talking about that. There are some gaps on SPY. You can see this gap was filled, bottom gap. Now there's a gap left at the top. There's also this gap left around 420. I think that looks like a very probable scenario. And let's draw some fib retracements on this to see if we can find something interesting here. So from top to the bottom, and you can see around 417. So I think this gap fill is at minimum a good price target. Can even come, there's another gap here around 404. So let's for now, for the sake of this, let's try to keep this as a target. It is, you can see this candle here, you can see this daily candle looks like it's a reverse dragonfly, right? So it looks like a reversal candle. You can see same candle here happen here, then we got a dump, although we pumped again later on. So you can see similar candle here, similar candle here. So these candles might be driving a major top. Okay, so be very careful on S&P 500. It's time to be careful. Okay, and also you can draw a trend line. Let's quickly draw a trend line uh, like this. Okay, not a clear trend line I have, but something like that. You can draw something like this, and you can see if it can come and find support here. So this support is around 431.15. So if it comes down, that's going to be around support trend line 431. Let's say 431.3.15 comes down here, find support. That's good. If not, then we're coming definitely to fill this gap. All right. So let's go to 1 hour chart on futures and see if there was anything else we could have spotted. You can see new highs, same concept, divergences on RSI and PPO. So same thing was happening. Let's look at NASDAQ 100. You can say NASDAQ 100. Here there was divergence, dump, and here also again we got a divergence high here. It's also a divergent high, and now we're getting a dump again. Okay, so you can see here this dump and this dump. Okay, you can see this new high is on a lower momentum, and now we are getting a dump. All right. And let's quickly look at levels on triple Qs. I think Nasdaq might have topped again. You can see this reversal candle. Now there are multiple gaps, and most gaps get filled. I think Nasdaq can come as low as 332. That's my target. And there's this trend line. Keep an eye on that. There's ways to fall on Nasdaq. So if you're in tech sector, you got to be extra careful. Okay, Dow Jones, massive gap up, still not filled. There's another massive gap down. It looks more likely that Dow Jones wants to come to fill this gap, the bottom gap first before it goes high to fill this gap. So it can happen, or it can also now from as soon as, I think, which is unlikely scenario. I think it's possible Dow Jones can go from here, fill this gap, and then come down. But eventually it's coming down to fill this gap. Okay. So I'm gonna take this out, which I think is unlikely. So I think we're going straight down to fill this gap. IWM I already reviewed. I think top is in. So we are just going down. This is my price target 175 to fill this gap. Okay. Let's now move on to natural gas. I bought natural gas end of the day because it came to this trend line. You can see this nice trend line, came very nice support trend line here. You can see here came very close to this trend line. Here is the support trend line. Okay, and I think natural gas is about to pump, and the reason I bought, because we are here, I want to show you my standard deviation, and you can see natural gas came below the first standard deviation, and that was a buy for me. Okay, so I bought natural gas here. It was down around 3.5%, and now it's still a good buy. So as soon as Monday, if natural gas opens here in these lines, look to buy. I'm looking to sell in this area here. So from today's close to the target, I have around 5.5%. Okay, so 5.5% plus 5.5% upside, but don't wait till the exact dot. Start to sell as soon as you're in the middle around 2.63. So as soon as you have profits in the middle around 3%, start booking profits, leave some runners running, and then see if you can eventually hit 5% target and exit natural gas trade. Okay, I bought UNG. I do not like Boyle because it's very dangerous 3x ETF. I'm planning to hold it for a couple of days. So this is not leverage. So this is good for me. So from today's close here, uh, so around 6% target, but keep an eye on natural gas because this system works better with futures. So if natural gas hit 2.69, look to take profits right away. Okay. So that's for natural gas. Again, let's go back to daily chart and let's yeah, so it's right on support. Good time to buy. All right. Crude oil was pumping. You can see it's just bouncing between support and resistance, and it needs to break out. Sorry, it needs to break out either way. So I don't know which way it's gonna go. It's just going back and forth. Okay, you can see big. This was a big area of support before. You can see came back to test 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, again 5 times, and now it's acting as a resistance. Okay, so once, twice, thrice, four, and again five. So it needs to go above that to be bullish. If not, then it's coming back now to this support area. Okay, so there's not a lot, although it pumped 2.43, but it's just in this trading range for now. Gold was up, very good bounce, but I sold gold because I'm doing a quick trading. But this gold looks good. The only issue I have is this gap here around 1870, and I think Fed meeting is next week. So if they raise points, 50 basis points, I think gold can come back to fill this gap and then go higher. Okay, so I'm not sure. Well, long term, if you can hold for if you can hold gold for a couple of days, sorry, a couple of months to 6 months, I think it should be good. But I would really like to see a price action like this on gold. Okay, I would like this gold to top very soon, come down, fill this gap, 1870. Anything below 1900 is going to be a great buy, and then go higher. So also the other thing is in my system, it came to the sell zone here. So gold came to the sell zone in the morning. So it was as soon as market open, I was holding gold miners. So I sold all gold miners. I had GDXU, which is triple X leverage. It was up as much as 7%. So you can see here, although it did not go there, I keep gold as a guide. So now it's in the middle no trade zone. So if gold comes back around 1908, 1909, and gold miners they come back around this area here around 29.1, you can see end of day we had some sell off, and also there's a gap created here. If I go to 1 hour chart to show you on gold miners, let me hide this. You can see there is a gap created here. You can see big gap, so it might possible next week will come to fill that gap, and that gap is around 1%, not a lot. But also on gold miners, we are also on this trend line. So you can see we are bouncing, but end of the day, we gave back most of the gains. And just remember, there's another gap here around 27. I'm not saying we're going there, but FOMC, if there is some bearish news, I think most likely they will Feds will raise interest rates, and that's going to be very bearish for gold as well, along with all tech stocks and other sectors. I think that will be a great buy. Okay, but so far we're holding this trend line. As long as we are holding this trend line, again on Monday we come back to fill this gap. Look to buy for amounts. All right. So let me update this here, and we can get rid of this one. My charts need to be updated because I was away for a while, but anyhow, so that's on gold. Looking for this to fail and then come back to again make a divergent low. That will be a good buy. I don't have any divergences here, so I really want to see a new low with some divergence. That will give me more confidence on gold. Silver, same thing again on this trend line. So it's sold from this resistance area. We can get rid of this, and we can get rid of this chart. Now I think I'm looking for this to go back. So basically, I want to see something like this. Go back to this trend line, maybe fake out, and then go higher. Something similar with gold. Okay, and you can see it's nicely this trend line is following, and keep an eye on that. We covered Bitcoin and crypto. Bond is very close to the bottom. This is daily chart. You can see bond market. Wow, is this the sell-off today? Wow, let me see what happened. TLT is the bond you want to buy. It was down 0.6% and it made a new low. But you can see what's happening on bond. It made a new low, but it's a divergent low. Okay, you can see PPO is higher. Also, you can see RSI is also higher. Okay, slightly higher. And as per my analysis, this looks like it's perfectly aligned with the short-term bottom, although it's a bit more than what I anticipated, but that's good. That's good. I did not buy it yet, but I will be keeping an eye. And you can see also here on futures as well, this is a new low compared to previous low, but so we have still have divergence on PPO, and you can see even on RSI we have divergence. Okay, so you can see here. So yeah, bonds are looking good. Actually, I'm gonna add TLT here so I remember to keep an eye next week. And also XBB is the sector for Canadian, so I'm gonna keep these at the top. So this is gonna be in my radar for next week, and I'll be looking to buy this as soon as Monday. So let's move it. Where did bonds go? Here. All right. Okay, good. So let's quickly look at dollar. So dollar is very close to the bottom, and actually today was the bottom or day before. Yeah, actually it looks like my cycle is showing very like Monday could be the bottom. Also came very close to coming very close to support. This is going to be very bad news for gold and stock market. If gold starts to pump, that's not sorry. Dollar starts to pump, that's not going to be good for entire stock market. So be very careful, guys. Here, dollar is looking for a pump. UUP, if you want to buy dollar, UUP is the ETF. You can look to buy dollar. Okay, 0.84% down. This is the ETF you can look to buy dollar. Actually, I haven't updated this for a while. Okay, VIX I missed. VIX is making. Let's see. It's you can see my projection is working out well. Let's go to 1 hour chart. Multiple gaps on VIX. So it's possible on Monday we could see a little bit of pump and then get a dump. Um, so basically, what that means is pump in S&P 500. That means we could come back on VIX to fill these gaps. That could be a fake out move. So you can come back to fill these gaps and then go higher. All right, so that's possible. So keep an eye on that. All right. But VIX is very close. So we can see divergences, new lows are happening with divergence. You can see RSI is higher. PPO, I did not see any divergence, but if I draw from here, there is a divergent. You can see here. Let me draw it. You can see from here to here, this is a divergent low, and also from here to here, also this is a divergent low on VIX. Okay, so be very careful. VIX goes opposite to S&P 500. If VIX is down, S&P 500 is up, and if VIX is up, S&P 500 is down. Today both are down, which is a conflict, which is very rare. Okay, let's keep moving. Um, Copper, let's quickly look at copper. Copper was in the buy zone. Okay, you can see very nicely in the buy zone. Now it's bouncing, so all is good. CPER is the ETF. Palladium, you can see we are in this bullish falling wedge. I'm looking for a breakout. It came, this was a fake out. Now again back on this wedge. So let me extend this wedge like here, and I'm looking for a breakout. So nothing changed. Looking for a breakout, back test, and then go higher on Palladium. All right, let me adjust this as well. Okay, so something like this. Con basically looks like a bear flag. I don't really like this price action. So I yesterday when there was a pump, I got rid of my positions. Also, I can show you why I did that. If I you can see con here, you can see it came very close to the sell zone, so I bought it here in the green. I had a little bit of profit, so I sold everything and now gained back. It's in the red, in the green zone, so it's on a buy zone short term. But I don't like. You have to be careful of everything else. This looks like a bear flag, and I don't like this. Especially, it looks oversold, but This could be a bear flag and we might be going next leg down. So I don't like the price action on corn. So at minimum, I want to see a new low with some divergences forming for me to be able to trade corn. For now, I'm just going to leave this alone. Wheat is looking nice. You can see it's a bullish falling wedge broke out. Now back test. I think it's looking good for a breakout. So nothing changed here. Soybeans came to the buy zone and looking good. I don't think anything changed. Let's get that indicator. This one EMA lines. See if you can see it found support on this blue line, which is 200 EMA. So new high, back test. I think it's getting ready for another pump higher. So soybeans are good, and yeah, everything is looking good. SOYB is the ETF. Sugar, you can see broke down, and now it's coming for a back test of this trend line. Let me hide this so it's a bit clear for you guys. You can see broke down, back test. I think I'm looking for lower prices on sugar. Mortgage rates are going higher, filled multiple gaps, so I can get rid of this. Looks like this is also filled. So actually, we're gonna go 1 hour chart. Rates are like now going parabolic, which is not a good sign for stock market. And yeah, looks like everybody's anticipating a hike, and that's what will happen. Most likely, Powell will increase the rates, and yeah, so I think we already got this bump, which I was expecting. Now we'll see if it goes to previous new high, then it's going to be very bad. Okay, so uh, at, I think at some point we'll fill this gap, but I don't know when. Maybe we'll come Monday, fill this gap, then bounce. So we'll see what happens. PFIX is a ETF which if you want to trade TNX. We covered, let's quickly look at Dow Jones and see if there are any gaps. Just want to make sure my gaps are there. So yeah, nothing here. IWM, also there's a gap up, gap down, so it's all good. We already covered, so this is DIA is the ETF to trade Dow Jones, and IWM is the ETF to trade Russell 2000. We covered gold miners. Let's look at all the sectors. XLE up. Looks like this gap is filled, so you can get rid of that. Now, let's see. There are gaps up, gaps down. My preferred scenario is to fill the gaps at the bottom, so I'm going to leave it as like that. Okay. XLV. Let's bring in moving averages, and this is not a good sign because it just broke down of this 200 EMA. This looks like a bad candle, like a really bearish candle, but it's coming very near to this support line. So it's possible healthcare will come to the support line before the bounce, so that will be good area to buy. So I have to adjust these lines a bit because of this dividend payout. This thing really messed up. So also I cannot draw a clean trend line on this, but there's a gap here. So if I go to 1 hour chart, let me hide these lines so it's a bit clear. So there's a gap here, so I think it can come and fill this gap before it can go higher. So this looks like this might be a possibility right now. There are multiple gaps, so look for this gap to fill and also tries to touch this trend line before going higher, so that will be a good trade. Okay, and I don't know why I have this blue line, so I'm gonna get rid of this. XLU, same thing like healthcare on this very close to this trend line. If it comes, let's go to 1 hour chart. Did it fill the gap? It did fill this gap, so we can get rid of this. You can see gaps are filled 90% of the time. So if you're smart, go to 1 hour chart, look for gaps. Those are your possible profit take targets. So you can work like that. Okay. So let's go to 1 hour daily chart. So it looks like it's gonna come and fill this gap, and then utilities sector will pump if stock market goes down. Utility sector should pump. Okay. Industrial kind of 0.2%. Let's go to 1 hour chart. Looks like some gaps are filled, so we can get rid of this. So there's a gap at the bottom, gap at the top. So yeah, it's possible it can come all the way down to fill this gap. Eventually it has to fill this gap. I don't know when, we'll see. Real estate sector down 0.47%. Nice projection. It almost met my target. So now let's see, this gap is filled, so we can get rid of this. There's another gap here, so it's possible we're gonna go fill this gap and then come back down to fill this bottom gap. Let's see. I don't see any other gaps here. Let's go to daily chart and see. Actually, there are no gaps at the bottom as well. I'm just drawing this trend line so that you know, because if stock market, if they increase rates, that's going to be very bad for real estate sector. And just remember, there's this trend line, so look to buy off this trend line. Okay, if you get a dump in real estate sector. XLF, this one is let's quickly go to 1 hour chart. I need to update gap, so this gap is filled, so that's good, but there's massive gap to the downside now. So also there's a gap here, but it's quite possible we might have already seen the top, so be very careful on financial. And I'm looking for these gaps to fill at minimum, and also this 31.97 gap, which is here very close to the trend line. Okay, let's quickly look at Tesla tech sector. Let's go to 1 hour chart. So this is gap still not filled. The multiple gaps, all these gaps in the green are to the downside. You can see I'm not favoring, because at minimum I think this gap here around 235 should be filled. So from today's close, that's around 14%. So be very careful. Also, there's this massive gap around 161. Then there's also another earnings gap here around 146. So 90% of the times these gaps are filled. You can decide yourself. You want to be selling here or you want to be buying here. Apple looks, this is a bearish rising wedge with a lower momentum on PPO. RSI had no momentum, but what happened? We had a fake out. You can see it popped out as a fake out. Now it's coming back down. And also Apple has multiple gaps to the downside. So all tech stocks are looking very bearish. Google gap here. Microsoft looking for gaps. At minimum, this gap 315. Meta, you can see this is the support line. It broke out, back tested, now going back down. And let me see 1 hour chart. You can see this gap here. All these green lines are the gaps to the downside, so you can decide yourself. You can see so many gaps are there. Amazon, let's go to 1 hour chart. Did it fill this gap? It's possible. Yeah, it did fill this gap, so you can get rid of this. You can see how nicely these gaps are filled. Now there's so many gaps to the downside. Also there's this trend line, so keep an eye on these levels here. Netflix, let's go to 1 hour chart and see if there's anything left. So yeah, this gap is still there. Also the multiple gaps to the downside, so looks like Netflix is due for a big correction. And you can see this new high here. You can see it's a divergent high. Very nicely it's done on Netflix. You can see this divergent high here. PPO and RSI, you can see this high here was made on a divergence, which is not good. And NVDA, uh, I'm personally expecting a big gap down on NVIDIA to trap all the bulls here. All the money will be trapped here for so long. So be very careful. If you're in profit, take profits and exit. Okay, that's my advice to you on NVIDIA. AMD, AMD is not as bad as NVIDIA. So if you want to buy AMD. Okay, AMD had a little bit of correction here, and it's looking okay. But I'm staying away overall from tech sector. AMD had 20%, 19% correction since top, so it's still a better buy compared to AMD. But also there are multiple gaps here, so I'm just a bit cautious here. Intel, let's see if we fill this gap or not. 1 hour chart not filled, and also I don't see any gaps at the bottom, but this is also good buys from the top. Since here to the bottom here, 15% down. Intel is also a good buy if you want to hold something for long term. Okay, I'm not going to go through all stocks. What I will do now is let's quickly look at stocks that are in buy zone. So these are the stocks for quick trades on Monday. So let's see, this is like a bonus for you, and definitely it deserves a like at minimum. So this is my system. So basically those who are new, we look to buy in green zone and we look to sell in red zone. These are quick trades, and I will show you how nicely it worked this morning and yesterday. You can see here, sorry, this is live market. This is S&P 500 futures. You can see here what happened yesterday. It came below. This is Thursday. You can see it came. This is live 24/7, so you can see it came below third standard deviation. This was a good buy. So I had S&P 500. I bought something here, and I sold as soon as we went above here because I was in profits. I didn't want to lose, so I took profits and I exited. Okay, but you can see today also what happened on futures. It came here around 9:30. Again, it's touched. So if you bought it here, I did not take this trade because I had gold trade. Yesterday I sold this and went into gold. So you could have bought it here, and today very nicely it pumped from the bottom here to the top here. You could have easily made almost 1% on S&P 500 and sold at the top. Okay, so you can see these lines perfectly predict everything. So if you sold here, if you bought UPRO, which is 3x leveraged ETF, you would have made 3% today, and you could have even shorted here above this line, and the dump you would have made easily top to bottom 6% today on this. Okay, so anyhow, going back, S&P 500 is very close to the buy zone. So these are the levels. If it comes below 43.96, look to buy for a possible bounce again as soon as Monday. US 100, same thing. It was in the sell zone, so whoever shorted here, very good. And now it's very good, close to the buy zone. Anything below 15,000, that will be good buy for Monday. US 30 is in the buy zone already, so this is Dow Jones, so you can look to buy as soon as Monday. Okay, and Russell also was a great trade. You can see what happened here. Third deviation below third deviation on Thursday, and today it went above second deviation, and this was a perfect shot. Whoever shorted here did great, but now it's in a no trade zone. So look to buy around 1839 and look to sell around these levels. Okay. What I did buy natural gas, like I told you. These are the levels I'm looking to sell. So you can take a snapshot of this. And UNH is the stock which I'm holding, and it came. I bought yesterday, so I'm in a little bit of loss, but that's okay. I'm preparing to hold this for a long time because this is the biggest healthcare provider. Look at the market cap on this. This is 429 point, almost 430 billions. This is the largest healthcare stock, and on Dow Jones, this is like one of the biggest weights in Dow Jones, and even S&P 500. This is like I think 10th or 11th after tech sector. So I don't think they can hold this for too long. But also, if you go to 1 hour chart, okay, there are some gaps here. But let's forget about all these. Uh, this is in very close to second deviation. You need to buy here. Okay, so it's like a very super sale, I think, in my opinion. Buy here, sell here around. There's also a gap around 477. That will be a good area to sell. Uh, let's see what else. Bonds I covered. It's in the buy zone. Pfizer is also in the buy zone. You can take snapshot of this. You can pause the screen, take a screenshot. It's very close to second standard deviation. ABBV, I think it bounced, so it's in a no trade zone. CVS, let's see, no trade zone. And let's look at anything else. Let's look at some stocks here. You can see gold miners also. It was in the buy zone yesterday. Sorry, on Thursday. Yeah, just as yesterday. That's why I bought it, and it gapped up today. Okay, and then it was a good trade to sell gold miners. XLV is also in the buy zone, so you can even buy this ETF XLV, or you can buy CURE, which is 3x leverage if you are interested in 3x leverage. Utilities in no trade zone. Real estate is in the no trade zone. Financials in a no trade zone. Let's look at tech sectors. Tesla, nothing. Let me see which one dropped most. Microsoft is also in the no trade zone. Snowflakes very close to the buy zone. Let's quickly look at anything else. Nike is in the buy zone. It's very close to second deviation. So these are all good levels to accumulate. Nike, MasterCard, no trade zone. Procter and Gamble in the buy zone. Let's see. Verizon had dividends, so it's in the buy zone. So Costco is in the buy zone, very close to second deviation. Walmart is in the buy zone. Coca-Cola is in the buy zone. And let's see if there's anything else. Let's quickly scan. CNI is in the buy zone. This is Canadian National Railway. CP is in the buy zone. This ATD is in the buy zone. These are all good stocks of the Toronto Stock Exchange, so I keep an eye on these. And let's quickly look at Bitcoin at the end with this short-term analysis. You can see how nicely every time you go here, you buy, and then you wait for this to sell. You can see here Bitcoin was in the buy zone here, you sell here, So at some point, whoever bought here, I'm looking for Bitcoin to pump around 3,500, uh, between 3,500 to 3,800. So this will be as soon as tomorrow. If you see a pump here, that will be a good area to sell. Okay. And Ethereum, same thing. Ethereum was in the buy zone from last couple of days. Look to sell around here, around the 1900. Okay. All right, guys, that's it for today, and I hope this video was very educational, and I hope you increase your knowledge. And if you're still here, please hit the like button on your way out. And I wish you a great weekend. And I will see you again in next couple of days. Take care. Bye.